Yeah, it took such a realism, that it was just, and it was hard enough to get caught up in it. And of course, when I get, when that kind of stuff and that kind of emotion starts to happen, see, for me, I don't fight it. Because, I mean, to me, if you don't resist it, it helps it. The more you get into it, the more become part of it. Dude, it just works better. You know what I mean? Again, that's why to this day, there are a bunch of dudes who think they're big, bad, rough, and tough. But every one of them will look at you and go, dude, I cried when you looked at Ricky Flair and you loved him. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, everybody did. Yeah. Including me.
Yeah. No, but I did too. But that was the point of all of that, was to tap in to something so much bigger, in all of us. And it was. It was, everything about that match was to tap into the 15-year-old boy in every person that's ever watched a wrestling match. You know what I mean? And so, and again, that's something I feel like we did, and that's why that will always be one of my most, proudest, most memorable moments ever, because it's where, it was the culmination of everything that you loved about old wrestling manifested itself in a wrestling match at WrestleMania.
If you think about it, I was 59 years old, and sometimes I look back and say I couldn't have possibly been 50. I was 59 years old in 2008, and but I was still in decent shape. I mean, I certainly had some cosmetic issues, but as far as working out, I was in good shape. Not saying I was the cosmetic cover of Muscle Fitness or anything, but I could still walk around without wearing my shirt. And so, and then to go out there in front of 78,000 people, and I've told this story 1,000 times, but I got to do it again. First of all, when we went around with Michael Hayes was our agent, and we went and talked and sat down and whatever. He said the first day we got there in Orlando, he said, "Listen, you're going to do something you've never done in your life. You're just going to keep your mouth shut and listen to this." He said to me, I mean, he was serious. You just keep your mouth shut and listen to this. I put a lot of thought and time in this. I didn't fly over here from Texas to have you keep me shit. This is what we're doing, and this is it. And then I'm telling you, we're standing in a gorilla, and he's jumping around, and I'm going, he comes to the gate. Listen, remember what I told you? Just keep your mouth shut. Let's do it. Out the door he goes. I started crying right there before I got in the lounge. They think I'm not on Tuesday. They're like, well, let's say we got there Wednesday. He said, you just keep your mouth shut this week. Do something you've never been able to do. Just shut up and listen. Learn this, get it down, and it's what and I did forget a couple of things when he told me in the ring. He said, "Hey, A, B, C, D, dumbass. you just missed B."
I was so wired for sound, though. I mean, I knew exactly. I've never been so sure of anything in my life. I knew if we do this was gonna be epic.
Yeah.
And
it was tremendous. Wow. I'll tell you something, Conrad, and I think I've told you this, Conrad, but Shawn knows this too. It's like you never know. You think, oh my God, and you're so wrapped up in the emotion. But when you walk back through that curtain in the gorilla, and everybody is going crazy, that something good has come down. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I mean, there was a time in my life, and I'm sure Shawn still feels that way now. I mean, as I thought Shawn was going to address earlier, I've had some times where I was very insecure as I got older because people kept telling me I was old. And I don't have to go down the memory lane with that, but it made me insecure, and it made me insecure about my ability, even though I could still really perform. The age where it hit me so many times from so many different angles. So, but it didn't even. But I came through that curtain, and I know Shawn walked back there saying, "Man, this was great." You know what I mean? But I've had so many people over the years tell me it was great, but I didn't know if it was good or bad. I mean, I knew it was highly emotional. I knew the crowd was into it huge. I knew that Shawn had performed like nobody else. But to walk back through that curtain, and you had to be there, Conrad, to understand that the whole company was there waiting for us. Not just the guys, the technical people, the whole company was lined up the whole length of the hallway. Remember, Sean?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and I went, God, well, I guess it all worked out right. And then Sean pulls me aside. He says, before you get busy with your family, I want to talk to you a minute. So I thought, he's either going to tell me what I didn't do right, I didn't know what he was going to say. He says, come here. We went back there, and he opens up his bag and takes out 2 green boxes with Rolex on them, and says, here, I want you to have this for me. And hence the Rolex stories. I mean, unbelievable. A $65,000 watch. Well, Conrad, you've seen it.
Yeah.
Sean had the same one.
Sean, tell us about that. How did it come about?
Sean did that.
Oh.
I didn't ask for it. I would have.
No, you know what? I mean, it was something when I knew I knew probably, I guess, at least a month in advance that we were going to have this match, and I, it was important to me. I mean, this was look, I've taken all of my WrestleMania matches seriously. I probably take one. I'm guilty of taking one. Majority of my wrestling matches way too serious. Then I take my Raw matches too serious, and then my pay-per-view matches even more serious, and then my WrestleMania matches way, probably unhealthily too serious. And then of course I took this one with Rick. It was important to me, and so I wanted to know how how this would be special. And then of course again we went back to me being 15, and I just thought, what I'd like to do is us to have matching Rolexes. I want to be the limousine riding, Rolex wearing, wheeling, dealing, just stealing the son of a gun just one time with him. And so and I wanted to get them done a certain way and something that would be memorable, that we'd remember forever, and engrave something on them. And so I went to these jewelers that I know pretty well, and asked them if they could look. This is what I'm thinking about doing, and can you get this done? The only thing they couldn't get done, that's why we have the 24 on there. I was going to do it at the Roman numerals, and there just isn't enough room. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they told me.
Yeah, to do it, that it would be sort of legible, that you could see it. And so we got it done, and like I said, then it was a matter of how do I give them to them? And I didn't know. Obviously, I just figured we'd do it when it came back, but then you come back, and of course everybody's back there, and and then again it was an emotional night for him. I knew it was going to be a long night for him, and so I need just 5 minutes of your time, and I wanted to express to him what not just the match meant to me, but what he's meant to me, certainly professionally over the years. And then, of course, on top of that, to have grown into, having a real friendship, a real life friendship with this guy that, you used to just sit there and watch on TV.
My official role was the last 2 years there, right? With Sean.
No.
You know what it was, right?
No.
Order room service 411. Oh yeah, you go Nate's room service. Yeah, what do you want? I'll take a double chicken Caesar, 2 shrimp cocktails, a plate. My job was to call the hotel because he was always on last if I wasn't with him. Call the hotel, have room service delivered, put in his room by the time he got back. Yeah.